Ladies and gentlemen, what's good, y'all? It's Chris Gary again, back at it for Focus Fights and the MMA Opinion. And we're doing another pre-RIZIN 16 interview with yet another fighter who will be fighting on the RIZIN 16 card, which will be taking place June 2nd from the Kobe War Memorial Hall in Kobe, Hyogo, Japan, and exclusively shown in the US and globally, by the way, excluding Japan, on the FITE TV app. FITE.TV is their website. But last time I was with you guys, we had Timothy, You Can't Handle the Truth, S-Truth on, and he'll be facing Ersin Yamamoto. The man I'm about to talk to this week, or this time around, if you're listening to this a little bit later, this man is a part of a bout that was announced just a few days ago, if not almost a week ago. Even though he's a 16-19 competitor, the one-man riot, Kana Hyatt, 5'6", 125 pounds, from Puna, Hawaii, now fighting out of Team Bodyshop MMA in Long Beach, California, he thinks of himself as a well-traveled veteran looking to make use with what he has. And even though his record doesn't say that he's a top-caliber superstar, his experience does. And it's crazy because this will be the 10th time in the last 12 fights that he's had that he's going to be competing in Asia. Not to mention the 5th time he'll be fighting in Japan overall, if you go back to his days in Vale Tudo, Japan, beginning from February 2014 to October of 2015. But yeah, this dude is a well-traveled veteran. He's well known throughout both the California and Hawaii MMA scenes, and he's gonna be a fun person to talk to here on this Focus Fights interview. I can go on and bore y'all with an intro and all that, but since we don't have one prepared for him, might as well go ahead and get right to the interview, shall we? Hello, is this Christian Kana Hyatt?
Yes, this is.
Oh, well, aloha. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. I know that you are living in California, living in Long Beach of all places. I mean, I know there's so much drama over there, but you're trying to find a niche for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually living in Hawaii at the moment.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just out here in California training with my coach.
As in the Mandingo warrior, Anthony McKee?
Yeah, Antonio McKee.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
No worries.
But still, though, I know it's crazy being all the way out in Hawaii and everywhere else here in the continental United States is having all the action, but when it comes down to Hawaii, there is a mass of talent that are just looking to break their way through, like, the major promotions. I mean, you see Max Holloway. He is one of the top guys in the UFC. Does that make you feel like you're trying to prove your way and make Hawaiian MMA mean something? Like a Max Holloway or a BJ Penn?
Yeah, well, I've been fighting now for a minute, so in fact, when I was X1 champion, Max was just coming up. I think he was like 16 years old.
Oh.
So I've known Max when he first started. He was just a kickboxer from God's Army. But yeah, I always want to try to put Hawaii on the map. You know, it's more or less like a journey for me. I've been fighting for about 14 years now, and I just got back from living in Southeast Asia for 3.5 to 4 years. So I'm just doing my thing. That's all. I ain't worried about what everybody else is doing.
I can understand that, Mr. Hyatt. And the main thing I want to ask you, sir, is this will be your 11th time, if I'm not mistaken, in your last 13 fights coming up. This will be your 11th time you'll be fighting in Asia, any specific part of Asia. And this will be your 5th time fighting in Japan. Do you ever feel like when you travel over to Asia, you feel like you're, in a way, fighting in California or fighting in Hawaii?
No, No, it's a whole other feeling. It's kind of hard to explain. But coming from California, flying Japan it is a long journey.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I just got back from living in Southeast Asia, so I was fighting a lot in China.
Oh.
And I was living in Thailand, so it was like 3 hours, 5 hours. You know, the flight ain't that long. And I'm thinking from California, Japan, as my first fight I had in Japan was with the VTJ. I was in the flyweight tournament. That was, I think 14 hours, I want to say, the flight.
Yeah, about a good 14 hours.
Yeah, so California. Yeah, and they bring you in 3-4 days before the fight, so you gotta adjust, and at the same time you're cutting weight, and you just have to just roll with it. And no matter what, you just gotta go out there and fight. So it's pretty challenging, but it's all good, ready to go.
Yeah, I can understand that. One thing that I do want to ask is, you have been fighting since July 3rd, 2005. What got you hooked into MMA? I know that you've probably been doing this for a while, but what got you hooked into the sport?
Getting paid to fight?
Yeah, I can understand that.
I was, growing up in Hawaii, you're always fighting, and it's usually for free on the street, so it's just, knowing that I can get a little bit of money, because I didn't grow up with much money either. So, say they offering me $200 to fight some guy when just a couple of weeks ago I probably fought for free on the street. Sounds pretty good to me, in the beginning. So what kind of got me hooked is just the discipline and the lifestyle, because I changed my whole way of living. And I don't really like team sports, so this is more of an individual sport. And it's all on your shoulders. You got a team, of course, that help you and prepare you, but when you're in there,
you're by yourself.
It's just you. Yeah, it's just you, and the guy standing across from you, he tried to train just as hard, and he's coming to bring it. So yeah, it's like being a warrior,
Yeah, I get what
like
you
a
mean.
gladiator. Yeah, so.
Now, another question I do want to ask you is, you're going to be fighting in this upcoming fight at RIZIN 16 on June 2nd in Kobe, Hyogo, Japan as a bantamweight. You have fought in the lighter weight classes, the 125-pound weight class, which is 57 kilos internationally, and the 135-pound weight class, 61 kilos internationally. Pretty much your entire career. You've basically been fighting in those weight classes since before they were made the benchmark by the WEC and the UFC. But is it exhausting for you to move up from 125 to 135 or vice versa for a fight?
Well, it kind of depends. At the moment I'm kind of walking around a little heavier. Because like I said, I just got back from Southeast Asia maybe 6 or 7 months ago. So I just been, taking a small break, because I did have 27 fights while I was out there. And I was doing mainly Muay Thai. I think I had maybe 5 or 6, maybe even 7 MMA fights out there. But majority of it was like Muay Thai, and then I did a couple of K1 fights, and then I've done one bare knuckle fight. So my body was just beat down. So I am a little heavier now, and I feel comfortable fighting at 61 kgs now. Because when I first started, I was fighting 145. I fought 135. I even fought 155. Wow. And I was fighting all this weighing 130.
Oh.
Money was talking. So it's more or less like, hey, Connie, I want to fight this guy. He's maybe 15, 20 pounds heavier. And I'm like, how much? You know what I mean? So when I first started, it wasn't about the record. It was more or less about just fighting, and just taking any fight. That's probably what got me. Because, especially when I was in Asia, I was fighting every 2 weeks. I was fighting twice a month. Before I left, my last fight was August 31st, and I fought 7 times already that year. And the body was just beat up. You know, when I first got there, it was like I got 3 fights, and the next year I did 9 fights, and I did 8 fights, and I did 7 fights. So it was just nonstop training and nonstop fighting. So I needed a small break. I had a son, so I came home back to the States and needed a small break. But I'm rejuvenized and ready to go again. And like I said, I am a little heavier now, so I feel comfortable fighting at 61 kgs. And I feel that I perform better when I cut less weight, dropping down from 57. If I did that right now, I would need longer than 3 weeks to make that weight, you know? So 61, it seems like it's a easier weight, and the challenge is before me, so I'm ready for it.
I can understand that. Now, you have mentioned beforehand that you have been fighting in Muay Thai for probably Max Extreme, if I'm not mistaken, over there in Thailand.
MX.
Yeah.
Yes, I've done local shows in Chiang Mai at like the Taipei Stadium, the Chiang Mai Stadium. Where else did I fight? There was one more. That was a pretty. There's one more that I fought. Let me see. What is the name?
Is it not either clear. Ranjam Derm or?
No, those are all in Bangkok.
Oh.
I'm talking about northern. This is in northern Thailand. So I fought. When I first started, I was just fighting the local circuit, and then I had a chance to go to China and fight. And
for Wulin Fang and I think Kunlun, right?
Yeah, that, and then Boxing King was the first one that I did. I believe that was the show, was Boxing King. And then that's when I started first fighting for the WLF. But Kunlun, I did that before that. I fought on Kunlun when they were into Pattaya, when Super Muay Thai, that's a Bull Cow show, they were merging with Kunlun. So we fought out there. That was my first fight for Kunlun, and was crazy. But yeah, the MX, that is the craziest game because you're fighting with MMA gloves on.
Oh. And
you're fighting Muay Thai, and I'm fighting these high level guys. Like my first fight, is funny because I wanted, like, MX was kind of new and I really wanted to fight it, so it was like December, and they're like, I'm trying to get on the show, and they're like, oh yeah, you can fight, but you have to represent the UK. Because at that time it was going to be the UK versus Thailand. I go, it doesn't matter, just get me on there. So ended up fighting.
You have to throw like a phony British accent on there. You still have to go out there and fight.
They just said, yeah, I was like, I'm good. Just I'll represent anybody. So I ended up showing up there and knocking out my opponent in the first round. I'm thinking his name was Manchai. Okay. And then they called me up to fight in the tournament, 60 kg tournament, and I said yeah. And before I said yes to the tournament, I ended up fighting in China. 2 weeks before that, ended up submitting the guy on the WLF. And I came back, they're like, oh, you want to be in the tournament? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be in the tournament. So I ended up fighting the champ. I got the champ the first round, ended up knocking him out in the second round.
Wow.
And then 3 weeks later, I'm fighting again, fought a southpaw, and it was a Thai guy. He was tough, ended up knocking him out in the second round also. And then I ended up losing in the finals to a Brazilian guy.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a good run, man. I was knocking guys out in that show, and it's really good. I even fought for Top King Road Series. I think that's part of them too.
Yeah,
I fought in China.
I heard about them.
Yeah, it's a big show. Also fought like one of the best. I think his name was Singh. Don't know his last name, but he is one of the best 58 kgs in Thailand. He fights Lumpini, Roger Derm, all that. Man, it was a war. And you know what's funny is when we fought, we're in this huge stadium, and there was no heater, and it's wintertime, snowing and everything. It's cold. I'm telling you, man, we were fighting at, I think it was like 8 or 10 degrees Celsius. It was so cold, man. I'm like, I really don't like using the Thai oil anymore. I just go in there with a good warm-up, but man, it was so cold. I was like telling my guy, I'm like, hey man, one of my trainers, Crew New, came with me, and I was like, it's okay, oil me up, put that on, and it's our turn to go up, and I'm like running back and forth. Me and my opponent is running back and forth. It was pretty funny, man, going in there and just fighting. It was so cold. So cold.
I mean,
that was an experience itself.
I mean, to be honest, you were probably thinking, man, I know I was supposed to be fighting in Thailand, but I didn't know I was going to be fighting in the combat sports equivalent of an ice rink.
Yeah, it was freezing, man. China was crazy. So it's just a hit or miss, and you know, now I know that, you know, certain months, and when they ask me to fight, I'm just gonna just ask, is there gonna be a heater? Because there was a couple of times when I fought outdoor, because in August, before I came back, I actually fought an MMA fight before I did MX at the end of the month. I fought up in Tibet, in China, Tibet, one of the provinces, and man, it was beautiful, and it was like a lot of pastures and everything. We fought outdoors. It was kind of cool. Good thing they had a lot of fights, and my fight was in the afternoon, because when the temperature dropped a lot when it came nighttime. So I fought outdoors like 3 times in China. But I can tell you that fight that I did for Top King, and it was like 10 or 8 degrees, it prepared me for these outdoor fights when I came back to China, because it wasn't as cold as that, so I could actually do it. Man, telling you right now, fighting in the cold is crazy, but you gotta do it. You know, they bring you over there, pay for everything, and you're there to fight, so you just gotta do it no matter how cold it is.
And when it comes down to fighting outside as opposed to fighting inside, you have to deal with the elements. You have to deal with if it's going to be a nice night out, or if it's going to be rainy or stormy or anything like that, because of the fact that you got to make yourself durable to any type of situation that goes on around the fight surface, as opposed to in that cage or in that ring too. Yeah,
that's true. And you know, a lot of the times when I'm going out to Asia to fight, that especially in China, you don't get film. You know what I mean? There is no studying. This is raw fighting right here. So it's more or less like the first 30 seconds, 10 to 30 seconds of the fight is you're going to be seeing what you're going to do. You know, it's more or less react. Act and react. They're saying like I've been studying this guy for weeks on this camp. No, it's more or less like I'm in camp all year round, and all they do is call me, hey, you want to fight? Boom. I'm like, yeah, it's a yes or no. Okay, boom, this is when you fly out. So I want to say it's true. It's like a true fight, because you don't know what you're going up against. You don't know the guy's skills. You know, like all the guys now, all the top guys, even guys just coming up, they're studying their opponents. You know what I mean? They got guys breaking it down for them. They have they got a plan. They got a game plan. But when you're going out there, you don't got no game plan. This is just like, we scrapping. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? Okay, you're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna do this. It's more raw. It's none of this. We're studying this guy all this time. Oh, there you go. He threw that left hook. Oh, he drops his hand. Or he throws his kick. He drops his hand. Or he comes out. He shoots right away. There's none of that, man. It's like you come in there. The guy says fight, and it's just like, okay, what's gonna happen?
I can understand that, and that probably disqualifies me from asking, have you studied for my Molu Oi Fullswing, UOI Fullswing? But when it comes down to the guy you will be fighting at RIZIN 16 on June 2nd, have you at least heard about him, even though you know that he fought for Shudo and stuff?
Yeah, I've heard of him. You know, he's been in the game. Great fighter. I know he brings it. I will be checking his tape out just a little bit to see, you know, now that I'm in America, I know there's video on him. I'll take a look at it, but it's more or less I'm going to have my coach study it and kind of break it down for me on what he wants to do and what combinations I should be throwing. You know, I don't really like studying tape, because usually it's them beating the crap out of somebody, and, you know, that's just like, you're like, whoa, what the heck? But then you have to look at him and be like, oh, that's not me. You know what I mean? But then again, you're watching this guy's tape and he's just smashing some dude. You're like, oh, what the heck? So, you know, I'll have my coach do that and come up with the game plan. But yeah, man, I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to go to war. You know, I'm really happy to finally get the call from RIZIN. I know I've been on the roster for a minute now, and they were just waiting for the right time. And when they called, and I'm ready to go. So I'm excited. This is like a dream come true.
I can understand that, especially for you getting a chance to fight in Japan for your 5th time, and if I'm not mistaken, your first time since 2014. Am I correct?
My last fight was October of 2015.
Oh, yeah, 2015. My bad.
Yeah.
But still, you've been away from Japan so long, I almost forgot that you haven't fought in almost 4 years. But still, you're probably going to enjoy the fact that you're going to get a chance to fight in the RIZIN Fighting Federation, because it doesn't matter if your record is like what it is now, 16-19. There was a guy by the name of Charles Felony Bennett from Opelika, Florida, in the continental United States. He knocked the guy out in 7 seconds, and they tried to get him back, and they were really disappointed that he couldn't get back on the card, but they just loved his enthusiasm and loved the fact that he damn near knocked the guy out in enough time to go get a beverage and stuff. But I think that the RIZIN morality is, if you fight like you're worth a damn, you will get bought back. And I think that if you fight against Mamoru Fullswing or Mamoru Oi, you will probably be bought back. At least I hope so.
Yes. Well, that is the plan. You know, if you've seen me fight before, it's always a war. I come to bring it. It's either me or him. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to just bite down that mouthpiece and see what happens. You know, let the hands go, let the kicks go. You know, I've been fighting a lot of Muay Thai, so I like to stand up. But I've been doing wrestling and jiu-jitsu for a while now. You know, my Muay Thai record is 11-5 with 10 knockouts.
Oh.
I hold 2 WMC titles for the I-1 Extreme Fight in Hong Kong. So just because I wasn't doing MMA the whole time I was there, I was taking high-level fights. I was almost the MX champion. I just lost in the finals. And, you know, I just had to regroup a little bit. You know, doing 27 fights, you know, when I got out there, and shit, it was more or less like I was fighting maybe 3 fights a year. You know what I mean? And having an opportunity to go out to Team Quest Thailand up in Chiang Mai, it just changed me as a person, as a fighter. Waking up, training, sleeping, eat, sleep, train, fight. You know what I mean? It's a whole different lifestyle out there. It's just like training full time, and you know, out of my whole career, the 4 years, the 3.5 years that I put into it, that was the only time that I didn't have a job. You know, working and training the whole time, and just trying to bring it. And then when finally I just said, man, fuck it, I quit my job, you know, broke up with my girlfriend, sold my car, sold everything, gave up everything. And then I just left to Thailand, and it's all history after that. But yeah, learning a new craft, tightening up my Muay Thai, and you know, boxing and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and train out there with Bruno Cavallo. That was my jiu-jitsu coach, MMA coach. And then I had Dylan Fussell. He was my other coach out there. And, you know, we're just putting things together and just taking all these fights, man. And people don't understand that when you get the call, I'm a year-round fighter. I train year-round, so you can call me 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance, and I was ready to go, you know, so.
I can understand that. And there's a couple more questions I want to ask. When it comes down to the fact that you're going to be fighting a guy that's got not only a little less experience compared to you, you're also fighting a guy that's a little over the 500 mark as far as wins are concerned. Do you see that as a worry?
Nope. I have no fear.
I understand.
I'm ready to go. Yeah. You know, I'm glad that he has a good record. You know, there's no pressure on me. I'm just looking for a good fight. That's why they're bringing me back to Japan, because I did make a mark out in Southeast Asia when I was there. They were looking at me, you know, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to bring the fight to Fullswing and see what he got. I'll be right in the middle of the ring waiting for him to come to me.
Now, I know this question is probably going to get asked to you before you fight, at least about 2 days before you lace up the gloves, is what I'm trying to say, and get ready to go into the ring. But if you weren't fighting, let's just say if you weren't having a passion for martial arts, what would be your main occupation just to stay on the grind?
That is a hard question. I've been doing it for so long. Well, I like to work on cars. I'll probably be a mechanic. You know what I mean? I worked the auto mechanic for 2 years with Rocky's Auto Repair in Oahu. That's my uncle's shop. He had a mobile service, so I was working with him. You know, I've done a lot. I've done a lot of stuff. I've worked the warehouse. I worked as a server. I worked as a back waiter. You know, I just was working with my friend out here in California doing electrical. He has his own business, SCP Electrical. And I was putting up we're putting up chandeliers in $1 million homes. We're putting up TVs. We're doing panel upgrades. You know, we're doing everything. So, you know, I don't really like to think about what I would be doing because this is what I'm doing right now. And I don't think I would have changed it for anything. And I think I would have been drawn to martial arts in any life that I would have had. Mm-hmm. So, my hobby, if I had a hobby and I could do anything else, I'd probably work on cars. I like to do my own thing. It's fun to me. Going and tinkering with the motor and changing some brakes, some tires, putting rims on something, lowering it, you know, souping it up. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'd be doing.
Yeah, and I find it ironic that you are fighting out of a group called Team Bodyshop MMA, knowing good and damn well they don't work on cars, but still.
Yeah, that team is stacked. So I'm just grateful that you know, every time I come here, because I was gone for 3.5, 4 years, and you know, just calling the coach up, Coach Antonio, and telling him that I want him to train me for this fight, and I'm just, you know, he just welcomes with open arms. So I'm happy with that because I was training with Antonio before I left to Southeast Asia. Mm-hmm. I was with him for 5 years. Before that, you know, we beat Steve Swanson, won the Pandemonium Belt, we beat Jesse Cruz, and I was on the brink of getting into the UFC. Oh. But I chose to go to Japan and fight in the VTJ tournament. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, Rick St. Gracie, he won that in I believe 95. So
yeah,
this is a big thing.
95, but still, the dude was a monster in that tournament.
Yeah, so you know, just being considered for something like that. I was like, yeah, I want to do it. You know, it's always my dream. When I used to watch Pride with my friends, I'd be telling them, because I just started fighting, I'd be telling them, man, one day this is going to be me, man. Telling all my friends, sitting in this big living room, telling everybody, yeah, one day I'll fight in Japan. And, you know, it's happened. And, you know, coming from where I'm from, Pahoa, on the big island of Hawaii, mm-hmm. There's a lot of scrappers. You know, BJ Penn there in Hilo, but in Pahoa, we don't have I just, you know, I've been at home lately, and there is no gym, you know, so after I'm done fighting, I'm probably going to go out there to Pahoa, open up a gym, because there's no really after-school program for the kids, and me growing up, when I was their age, you know, what was there to do? Smoke weed, drink beer, party, get into street fights, be a punk. So I know they need an outlet. So hopefully I can give back to my community, because I've been gone for 13 years and now I'm back on the Big Island. I want to do something, because I'm looking for a gym to train on the Big Island, and I've been training at Roma's Jiu-Jitsu out in Hilo and HIBC boxing at YK Rec. But, you know, there's the only MMA gym that's open really is BJ Penn's. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I feel like I got to go out there and I got to do something for my community and give back to the kids, because I didn't have respect until I started martial arts. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was a punk. I'm not going to lie. When I first started coming up, man, I did boxing when I was 14. I was Golden Gloves in 94. 80 pounds. Wow. You know what I mean? And then I didn't want to box somewhere. I thought I knew it all, and I just wanted to go out and I just wanted to fight, because that was the thing, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't have respect until martial arts, and now I want to bring that to my community, because I've, you know, a lot of drugs is going on now, a lot of theft, and people with there's not a lot of respect out there, and you know, I've heard it from some of the people that live out there. So, you know, just open up my gym and just there's no money out there. You know what I mean? I grew up poor. I know the people was poor. You know, I don't want to dog anybody, but, you know, I want to say over 90% of the people living out there is on welfare. There ain't no jobs. You know what I mean? Unless you're hustling something. So I just want to be able to give back, and hopefully I can do that. I gotta, you know, I'm thinking 1 or 2 more years of fighting, and I'm going to open up my own gym. And I can't wait to see what happens. But right now I'm just focused on this fight in a couple of weeks, and just ready to go. I'm excited, very excited. Because RIZIN used to be Pride.
Well,
so,
actually, it's a descendant from the old Pride Fighting Championship.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Still gives me goosebumps, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been a dream of mine, you know, dream, in fact, yeah, dream or Pride. That would have been fantastic.
Exactly.
You know, so this is on that level, and I'm just excited. I'm just excited. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Now, a couple more questions, and then I'm going to close it out. Is there any way for your fans, your Ohana, to contact you on social media?
Yes, my Facebook is Kana Hyatt, or my fighter page is Kana the One Man Riot Hyatt.
Okay.
Or you can catch me on Instagram at One Man Riot 808. Number 1 Man Riot 808. So.
All right. And one more question. What do you have to say to not only the people who are doubting you because of the fact that your record basically says what you are to some fans, but what do you have to say to those who are not only supportive of you like your Hawaiian MMA Ohana, but fans all over the world who haven't seen you before and are looking to see you for the first time?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring the fight. You know, records don't mean anything. If you look at my record, I fought in 3-4 different weight classes. You know, I've taken fights weeks notice. I even took a fight 30 minutes notice.
Wow.
Ended up knocking him out. So, you know, and I give 20 pounds. So, you know, I just bring the fight. You know, haters gonna hate. They can say whatever they want. I don't even pay attention to that. You know, it's all good. Hey, man, you support me. That's great, man. One love. You don't support me, it's all you, man, you know? You keep doing you, because I ain't worried about what everybody else is doing. I'm only worried about myself and my family. You know, to the fans and everyone that supports me, man, love you guys, and I'm going to give it all. Make Hawaii proud, make myself proud, my family proud, and go out there and let's finish him, you know? I come to finish. When I was out in Asia, I was at I don't know, I want to say 80-90% finishing rate.
Wow.
I just knocking guys out, so... yeah, if you don't know of me, look me up. If not, all good.
Mm-hmm. With that, it's been fun talking with you, Mr. Hyatt, and all I gotta say is, I mean, I know my Hawaiian's a bit rusty, but Imau ai ka maluhia meoe. May peace be with you.
Alright, thank you. Thank you very much. You too.
Alright, man. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
So that was my interview with the one-man riot, Kana Hyatt, and we learned a lot about what he's capable of and what he has going into this fight against Mamoru Ui Fullswing. But the dude, if you can't tell by his voice, he seems like he was pretty blessed. He was pretty excited for the opportunity to go out to Japan and make something of himself. But he also talked about his Muay Thai background. He also talked about what his Hawaiian MMA roots mean to him, because it's like he said, he probably could have been locked up. He probably could have been so into the street aspect of Hawaiian life that no tourist can have a chance to see. But he's so focused on being the best Kana Hyatt that he can be that I'm pretty sure that Mamoru Fullswing is going to have a hard time trying to calm down the one-man riot. And with that being said, this has been yet another interview for the MMA Opinion and Focus Fights. If you like what you heard from this interview and others like it, feel free to check out the Focus Fights YouTube channel, youtube.com, and then search for Focus Fights, since unfortunately the last time I talked about the site, it wasn't even a proper URL. So yeah, YouTube, and then search Focus Fights. That would be your best option. Facebook pages, facebook.com/TheMMAopinion, facebook.com/FocusFights. And on Twitter, for only one of those entities, at FocusFights, FOCUSFIGHTS. I did mention the fact that we had a website in FocusFights.com in the last interview, but that had to be omitted from the editing process because the damn site don't even exist anymore, at least for the time being. So until we work on a website again, we're gonna go without one. And you'll just have to follow us on Facebook or Twitter just to get more info on all the fight news from around the globe. The fight scenes of Russia, the UK, the US, Asia, pretty much all around the world will be emphasized. But until then, this has been another interview from Focus Fights and the MMA Opinion. I have been the Chillmeister, Chris Gary, on Twitter at ChrisGary92. Signing off, saying peace, my peoples, in one love world. Until the We Are RIZIN podcast preview for RIZIN 16, which should be coming out within the next week. We should be working on it next weekend at this time, which will be March 26th. But until then, all I gotta say is may peace be with y'all. Thank y'all for being in my presence, and I'm glad that we're all enjoying this space together because we love fights just as much as we love ourselves. And that's alright with me. Later!